There is something happening in your home every single night, and most cat owners have no idea what it actually means. Your cat is not walking on you because they are restless, or bored, or simply indifferent to your need for sleep. They are sending you a message. A quiet, persistent, deeply biological message that has been building inside them since the very first days of their life. And the way you respond to it tonight could either strengthen one of the most profound bonds in nature, or slowly teach your cat that their message is not worth sending anymore. What you are about to learn will change the way you see every single nighttime visit forever. Let us begin with something that might feel a little unsettling at first, but is actually one of the most touching things your cat does for you without you ever realizing it. Have you ever stopped to wonder why your cat, out of all the places they could step, always seems to find your chest, your throat, or even your face? You have an entire bed. There are pillows, blankets, corners, edges, and yet they choose the most inconvenient spot possible every single time. This is not clumsiness. This is not coincidence. Your cat is targeting those spots with complete biological intention. Those areas of your body are where your life is most visible. Your chest rises and falls. Your breath is warm and rhythmic. Your heartbeat is faintly detectable through the surface of your skin. And your cat, the moment the house goes quiet and the lights go dark, needs to confirm something very important. They need to know that you are still alive. This might sound dramatic, but inside the mind of a cat, it is completely rational. In the wild, an animal that suddenly goes still and stops responding is a danger signal. It means something has gone wrong. And when you fall into a deep sleep, from your cat's perspective, you have essentially disappeared. You stopped talking. You stopped moving. You are no longer reacting to the world around you. Every visual cue your cat normally uses to track you throughout the day has been removed all at once. So they come to check. They step onto your chest and feel it move beneath their paws. They walk close to your face and catch the warmth of your exhale. And in that single moment of physical contact, their nervous system receives the confirmation it was looking for. You are still there. You are still breathing. Everything is still okay. And this is why they almost never do this during the day. When you are active, when you are visible, when you are filling the house with sound and movement and presence, there is no need for a check. But the moment the world goes dark and you go offline, the instinct kicks in. Every single night. Now, keep that thought in your mind because there is a reason behind all of this that goes much deeper than survival instinct. A reason that connects back to the very beginning of your cat's life. But first, there is another behavior happening right alongside this one that most owners completely misread. When your cat walks across your body at night, they are not just traveling from one side of the bed to the other. Every single step they take on your skin, on your clothes, on your blanket, is leaving behind something invisible to you but unmistakable to any other animal in the house. Your cat has scent glands located in the soft pads of their paws. And every time those paws press down onto you, they are depositing a chemical signature that functions as a biological claim. In the language of cats, this means one thing. You belong to them. Think about what happens during the day. You shower, you go outside, you move through the world and come into contact with dozens of different surfaces, smells, and possibly other animals. By the time you return home and eventually settle into bed, the scent your cat carefully applied the night before has largely faded. From their perspective, the claim has expired. So they renew it. Night after night, they walk across you and press their paws into you and quietly reestablish something that feels, to them, like an absolute necessity. Research looking at cats in multi-pet households found that this behavior increases significantly when there is competition in the environment. When other animals are present, the urgency to mark becomes stronger. The biological drive to say this one is mine becomes louder. So if you have multiple cats and one of them seems particularly determined to walk on you at night, there is a very specific reason for that persistence. It is not random affection. It is territorial instinct expressing itself in the only way available to a domestic animal living inside a human home. And understanding that completely shifts how this behavior feels. It is no longer an inconvenience. It is your cat doing something ancient and deeply wired, choosing you as the thing most worth protecting. Now let us talk about something a little more surprising, because this next behavior often startles owners out of a deep sleep and leaves them confused and slightly unsettled. You are completely unconscious. There is no warning, no gradual buildup of movement or sound. And then suddenly your cat is standing directly on your chest, fully alert, staring at the wall or the door with wide, focused eyes. You look around and see nothing. The room is completely quiet. The house feels entirely still. But your cat is locked onto something with absolute certainty. Here is what is happening. Your cat is not seeing things. They are hearing things. Things that are completely beyond your ability to perceive. The human ear can detect sounds up to roughly 20,000 hertz. Your cat's hearing extends all the way to 64,000 hertz. That is not a small difference. That is an entirely separate layer of the world. A layer of sound that exists around you every night that you are completely unaware of. A pipe contracting inside the wall as the house cools down. A small animal moving through the yard on the other side of your bedroom window. The mechanical click of an appliance cycling on in another room. You are sleeping through a world of sound that your cat is experiencing in full detail. And when something in that sound world catches their attention, their instinct does not send them running toward the floor or under the bed. It sends them upward. In the natural world, height means safety. Height means a better vantage point for assessing a threat before deciding how to respond. And at night, in your bedroom, the highest, warmest, most familiar elevated surface available to your cat is you. So when their ears pick up something unexpected, they climb. They plant themselves on your chest and use you as their observation platform while they process what they heard. Studies on feline cognition have shown that cats can distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar sounds even while in a deeply rested state. Their brains are never fully off. Even when they appear to be completely asleep beside you, some part of them is still scanning the environment continuously. You are not just their companion at night. You are their watchtower. And the fact that they choose to face whatever they heard from on top of you, rather than retreating away from you, says something very significant about how much trust they have placed in your presence. Let us move now into something that is a little more practical but equally fascinating, because it explains a behavior that every single cat owner recognizes but almost no one fully understands. Your cat does not land on you at night in one smooth motion. They walk across you, slowly, deliberately, with small pauses at different points along your body. They might stop on your legs for a moment, then shift to your stomach, then continue up to your chest before finally settling. This whole process can feel like a completely random wandering. It is anything but. Your cat is mapping your body by temperature. A cat's resting body temperature sits between 38 and 39 degrees Celsius, which is slightly higher than the average human body temperature. Because of that gap, cats lose body heat more quickly, especially during the night hours when the ambient temperature of the house drops and there is no sunlight available to absorb. To compensate, they seek out external heat sources. And the most reliable, most consistently warm heat source in your entire home is you. But they do not just pick any spot on your body and commit to it. The pads of their paws are extraordinarily sensitive to temperature. As they walk across your legs, your stomach, your chest, they are conducting a real-time thermal scan of your body, comparing zones and measuring output. The slow, deliberate pacing that feels so random is actually a highly efficient search process. They are looking for your hot spot, and in the majority of cases, they find it at your core. Your chest and your upper abdomen generate the most sustained heat because that is where your vital organs are working hardest. Your cat identified this long ago and has remembered it ever since. This is also why you will notice the behavior becoming more frequent and more insistent during colder months. It is not that your cat loves you more in winter. It is that the temperature difference between the cooling house and your body becomes more extreme, making you an even more valuable resource. The behavior is not emotional. It is mathematical. But the result of it, that warm, purring weight settled on your chest in the middle of the night, feels like something much more. Now here is something that will sound very familiar to anyone who has ever been woken up at 5 in the morning by a cat who simply will not stop. There are nights when your cat does not walk on you and then settle. They walk on you and then sit directly on your face. Or they begin purring at maximum volume directly beside your ear. Or they gently bat at your hand, then your face, then your hand again with increasing urgency until you physically cannot remain asleep any longer. This is not affection. This is a campaign with a specific objective. Cats are biologically wired to be most active during the early morning hours and around dusk. Their internal rhythms peak at precisely the times when most humans are either just falling into their deepest sleep or trying to hold onto the last of it before morning. So at 5 in the morning, while your body is doing everything it can to stay unconscious, your cat is entering their most energized and alert state of the entire day. And they have things to do. The first and most common motivation is food. Cats develop an extraordinarily precise internal clock when they are fed on a consistent schedule. Research from the University of Zurich found that cats can anticipate feeding times with remarkable accuracy, sometimes within a window of just 15 minutes. So when your cat begins their campaign at 5:45 and you normally feed them at 6, that is not coincidence. That is advanced planning. They know what time it is. They know what time breakfast happens. And they have decided that a 15-minute head start on waking you up is simply good strategy. The second motivation is energy. If your cat did not have enough stimulation and physical activity during the day, all of that unburned energy does not disappear at bedtime. It accumulates, and then it surfaces at exactly the wrong moment for you, activating their play drive and their need for engagement right when you are at your most vulnerable to interruption. They go to the one creature in the household who has the power to fix the problem. They go to you. Here is the part that most owners discover only after the damage is done. If you respond to this campaign by getting up and feeding them, or by engaging in play to quiet them down, you are not solving the problem at all. You are teaching them that the campaign works. Their brain makes a very simple and very permanent connection. Walking on the face at 5 in the morning produces food. And once that connection is established, it becomes one of the most difficult habits you will ever try to undo. They will wake up every morning with the same expectation because you are the one who taught it to them. Knowing this does not make the sleepless mornings easier, but it does give you the information you need to start making different choices before the pattern becomes permanent. And now we arrive at the moment I mentioned at the very beginning, the deeper reason, the one that, when you truly understand it, changes the entire emotional weight of every nighttime visit your cat has ever made. You have probably seen this happen. Your cat climbs onto you in the middle of the night and, instead of immediately settling or continuing their walk, they begin doing something rhythmic with their paws. A slow, alternating push and pull, pressing their paws in and then releasing like a soft and steady kneading motion against your skin or your clothing. Cat owners have given this behavior an affectionate name. They call it making biscuits. But the origin of this behavior, the reason it exists at all, is something that will stay with you long after you finish watching this. When a kitten is born, they are completely dependent on their mother for survival. Within the first hours of their life, even before their eyes open, they begin pressing their paws rhythmically against their mother's belly. This motion stimulates milk flow. It is the very first learned behavior a cat ever performs. The very first connection between their body and the feeling of warmth, comfort, nourishment, and safety. That behavior does not disappear as they grow. It does not fade the way you might expect a kitten reflex to fade. It remains embedded in them for the rest of their lives. And it resurfaces not randomly, but in specific moments. Moments when they feel something that their deepest instincts recognize as safe, as warm, as home. When your cat climbs onto you at 3 in the morning and begins to knead your chest, their nervous system is responding to something about you that bypasses all conscious thought. Your warmth beneath them, the slow rhythm of your breathing, the faint, steady sound of your heartbeat. All of it is combining into a sensory experience that their brain compares to something from the very beginning of their life. Something they have not felt since the earliest days of their existence. And in that comparison, you come back as the closest match. You, asleep and unaware, breathing quietly in the dark, have become in your cat's mind the safest place they have ever known. Not because you trained them to feel that way. Not because of any specific thing you did. But because your presence, night after night, has quietly and completely become associated with everything that made them feel protected before they even understood the world. Every time your cat walks on you at night, they are not just crossing a surface. They are returning to something. They are running a survival check on the creature they have chosen to depend on. They are renewing a claim that, to them, means you are theirs and they intend to keep it that way. They are using you as a tower of safety when the world outside makes a sound they do not recognize. They are following a map of your warmth to the place where they feel most secure. They are telling you, without a single word, that you are the center of their world. Most owners spend years interpreting this as inconvenience, as an interruption to sleep, as a quirk they have come to live with because that is just what cats do. But it is not just what cats do. It is what your cat does. For you. Because of you. And that is the message they have been sending every single night, long before you ever knew to look for it.